Hey YouTube friends, this is Ben Ochart, and I'm over here at Southwest Cargo in Nashville. And I'm picking up an order that I received from my channel sponsor, from the Cichlid Shack. And it's been already loaded in the car. I'll show it to you. 4 boxes of goodies from my friend James over in Tempe, Arizona. Impeccable packaging, James, as usual. Let's get these over to the house and see what I've got in there. Can't wait. Okay, so here I am back in the mad scientist fish laboratory. So James sent me a lot of these real nice stickers. If you'd like a sticker from the Cichlid Shack, send me an email, ben.o.cichlid@gmail.com. Let's go ahead and unbox a few of these, and while unboxing, I'll tell you what I did. I had to prepare the tanks for the delivery of the fish, and the first thing I had to do was to remove the fish that were in the tanks. I had a fish, sort of like a placeholder, right? You keep a fish in a tank to keep it alive, have it be producing ammonia and kind of keeping the beneficial bacteria going. So I had a green sebrum in this tank here that was keeping it together, and so I pulled that green sebrum and I put it in with the other South Americans. And you can see here that it seems to be doing okay. It didn't get beat up too much. It's not like in the African cichlid tank where a new fish gets a very strong greeting. So the first bag has some plants in it. It's got some Anubias nana, and these are some plants that I'm going to be using in that smaller tank that's going to be going in my wife's office. So we've got some plants. That's very nice. I'll put those in a tank with some other plants. And here's a massive bag. What do we got here? A tangerine tiger. Oh my goodness. This guy looks like he's about 7 inches. It's the biggest tangerine tiger I've ever seen. Okay. I lowered the water level in the tanks in anticipation of these fish arriving. And of course I have the lights off. I have the lights off because I don't want the fish to be too shocked on this whole process, but that's a massive fish. That fish is going to have to get into the 210 real quick. Now here's some golden rams. Now these golden rams, oh man, they're cute. These golden rams are going to be going into my wife's tank, into my wife's office tank. Temporarily, I'll put them with the South Americans. If the South Americans are too big, then I may have to go ahead and get that tank set up immediately. And okay, I can tell already these are going to be a bit too small to have with the South Americans. I have in here a wild-caught cardinal tetras, 8 of them, and 6 ember tetras. Wow, that's going to be really pretty in that tank, in my wife's tank. Okay, so these are going to have to go into a smaller setup right away. Extreme aquatic food. This is the best stuff. Extreme. Don't forget, you can pick up food and use that Cichlid Shack 10 and get 10% off on food purchases. All right, that's 1 box. Let's keep it moving here. James must have got a good deal on a bunch of these stickers because I've got 1,000 of them. All right, let's see what we have here. It's always a good idea to have some meds on hand. You know, it's one of those things that you hope you don't need them, but when you need them, you really do. So I got some Furon 2, Huron 2. Pretty good med. Good for septicemia, body slime, eye cloud, open red sores, fin and tail rot, and bacterial gill disease. So good to have some Huron 2, and I also got a little bit more of the Fritz Complete. It's what I use to condition my water, along with Safe, which I use in the bigger tanks. All right, so what do we got here? Okay, a blue Ochara. Love blue Ocharas. Goes in a South American batch. In Nicaragua, 2 Nicaragua cichlids. Oh, these are really cute. Nicaraguan cichlids. Redhead Tapajo. A couple redhead Tapajos. Beautiful, beautiful geos, redhead Tapajos. Hopefully they'll get along with the geos I have now, the Surimanensis. Red spotted gold severum. All right, love this fish. Red spotted gold severum, perhaps my favorite severum. Surprise, more stickers. So he also includes instructions on how best to acclimate your fish, which is good. Some more extreme peewee. Awesome stuff for your African cichlids. And the peewee is, make sure they really can able to get it in their mouth, not having trouble with it. It gets saturated very, very quickly. I don't pre-soak my pellets. I just go ahead and put them in. Whoa, big guy. Buco spectabilis. Wow, that's a big fish. That's a beautiful fish. Buco spectabilis F1. F1 means that it is right from the lake. You have the lake, and then you have fish that are right from the lake, or F0, I guess, wild caught. And then this is the offspring of wild caught fish is an F1. And here's an F1 eye biter. Oh man, that's a good size one. Okay, hope he behaves. You know, you have that problem sometimes with eye biters. They can be a little touchy, but I've got some pretty tough fish in this tank. So hopefully the eye biter will blend in okay. And oh, big red empress. Now, if you see all the stuff floating in there, I don't know if you can make it out. There's a lot of, look at the size of that empress. But there's a lot of stuff floating in there, waste and what have you. And that's just what the fish produced in its quick trip from Tempe, Arizona to here on Southwest Airlines. So this is why you wouldn't empty this water into your tank. It's full of waste, nitrates and what have you. So I need to reduce the water line or I'm going to overflow here. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this and then pick it right back up. So how are the fish doing? Let's start with the fish I had to move over to make room for the new fish, starting with the dragon blood. And the dragon blood did get the usual greeting you'd expect when added to a cichlid tank. He was chased around a little bit, but once things settled out, it looks like he's found his place in the pecking order and seems to be doing okay now. I really like the way his bright pink and gold and the way his colors are so different from every other fish in the tank. He really kind of highlights, really was a good addition to the tank color wise. And as you can see, everybody seems to be getting along okay. In the 90-gallon South American tank, I had to bring over the large green severum, and you can see him there. And again, he got chased around a little bit, but he's looking pretty good. Love the blue I'm seeing in his face. I did have to bring one of the geos that was in a quarantine tank healing up his tail. Had to bring the geo in, so then I had two geos in this tank, Geo surimanensis, and they immediately started lip locking each other and nipping at each other's tails. These geos really have a hard time getting along with each other. And I have a third one that's in a hospital tank getting his tail healed up. But I'm happy the way this Severum here is actually getting along and not really getting into anything with the other red shoulder that's over here in the back corner. So let's take a look at the other additions. Here are the large African cichlids. You can see them here. Leucospectabilis. Beautiful fish. Here we have a Lethrinops. I believe it's Orchulatus. Very rare Lethrinops. Usually I wouldn't put Lethrinops with haps, but this is a pretty big fish and seems to hold his own. Usually I think of Lethrinops as a very, very passive fish. Big and beautiful red empress there, and behind him, well, right here we have a Taiwan reef. Taiwan reef, look at that fish. Beautiful fish, Taiwan reef. And we have a sand diver. This is one of my favorite fish when he gets his colors. They're just absolutely gorgeous. Purples, blues, some red, kind of a metallic mix of colors. Rostratus, Prosochromis, sand diver, beautiful fish, and I've got an eye biter. Check him out. Seems to be getting along fine. Not really getting into much with the other fish. We'll see. We know with cichlids that can change instantly. There's also, hiding in the back here, a beautiful tangerine tiger. He's being kind of shy back there in the back corner. You can make out some of the markings on his body. Gorgeous. I'm not seeing a lot of damage to the fins or tails. So these fish are getting along a lot better than when I received a large shipment of peacocks which proceeded to tear each other apart. These fish are considered traditionally as more aggressive as predator haps, and yet they're not really having the vicious fights that you would see, or that I did see when I brought in a lot of peacocks into this tank in a prior shipment. There's a bag of media back there full of beneficial bacteria that I added to this tank only because I increased the bioload so dramatically. We'll see how all those fish do when they get added to this tank. They're actually larger than these fish, so it'll be very interesting to add a large number of fish. So they'll be the newcomers, and probably normally they would be the ones that are picked on, but they're larger than the fish that are in this tank now. So it'll be interesting to see how that actually plays out. Let's take a look at some of the South American, Central American fish that I received. I did get two beautiful little red spotted gold Severums. See them there. Love the fish, love the shape, love the attitude. Truly one of my favorite fish, and really looking forward to growing these two out. I have a couple very pretty Nicaragua cichlids. Here's one of them, and here's the other one. As the name implies, they're from Nicaragua. I also have a couple chocolates, chocolate cichlids. You can see them in the back there. There's one of them. That's a chocolate cichlid. I believe they're from Mexico. They get pretty large. Very pretty fish. I also have a couple geos in here. A couple geo. This is a redhead tapajos. They become very, very beautiful. I hope they get along better than the Surimanensis. There's two of them. There's the other one. Love the shape of these fish. Love the way they sift the sand. And as you figured out already, some electric blue Ochart are in here as well. Absolutely gorgeous fish. And got a couple of them in here. Let's take a look at some of the smaller fish. They're going to be going into my wife's tank. They're just around the corner here. These little guys are going to be going into that Horizon tank from Higer. We have some wild caught cardinal tetras. Beautiful little fish. Also a couple golden rams. Look at these guys. The colors on those guys. A little bit of red on the top of the head, on the pec fins, pectoral fins. Body has a little blue in it. Golden rams. Really pretty fish. Very active. They're eating well. Seem to be doing well. And you can see all the plants in here that are going to be part of the planted tank. We're going to plant up that tank, that Horizon tank. This tank was split into two tanks. I had that divider in here. However, these smaller fish were getting through the divider and getting up real close to the geo that was in here. And you can see the geo. He's a pretty good size. He's a third of the Geo Surimanensis, and I was certain that he was going to eat those little guys. So I had to act quickly and put him in this tank. So it took a little bit of a shuffle to get everybody situated. The little golden guys that you see in there swimming around are ember tetras. I'd say they're probably about a ½ inch. It's being real generous. Teeny little guys, very cute. I think these fish will get about a little over an inch, maybe inch and a half. There's another ember in there. Give you a close-up of them. So these fish, in about 30 days, assuming they look good, will all be going into here. So that's going to be a pretty exciting move. And all the fish that you see in here, after putting on some size, will be moving over possibly into this tank. Now, why do I say possibly? I say possibly because I've actually entered into discussions on getting a much larger tank, perhaps a 150 or a 180, maybe a 200 that will go against this wall, replacing these two 55-gallon tanks. So they'll go against this wall here. You'll go against this wall, probably a 180, let's say. And that 180 is going to hold all of my South and Central American cichlids. And then this tank here, wait for it, is going to become a planted discus tank. A planted discus tank. And I know that a lot of you have been wanting to see that. I certainly have. My wife certainly has. So this will become the home of some beautiful discus fish. I'm working out the details with my channel sponsor, the Cichlid Shack, and with my friend Joe over at Glass Cages here in Nashville. So stay tuned, my friends. It's going to get very, very, very beautiful and very exciting around here. And I want to thank all of you who help out the channel by watching and subbing. A special shout out to my Patreon members, and for those of you who show up at the Saturday live streams, the Cichlid and Coffee live streams, which are Saturday at 11 a.m. Central. That's 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. All right, that's it from me, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. You are the best. Bye-bye.